Hey everybody, it's Romy Cowboy and Mother Brave.
Hello.
And we wanted to tell you guys about our adventure of meeting Captain Lou Albano.
Most of the trip was problem-free until we got within about 15 minutes of the mall.
And I was like, oh no, I can't even believe this. We made one wrong turn and it took us in the complete wrong direction and we ended up in an airport. And then we found the right way and actually made it to the mall with about 5 minutes to spare. We turned the corner and it was Captain Lou.
It was like a light from heaven shined down into the middle of the store and illuminated the beauty of Captain Lou Albano.
And
May I mention that he had a humongous smile on his face the whole entire time we were there. He was so happy to be there and so gracious that people were coming to meet him and say hello. It was really cool.
the first thing he said to me when we got there was he saw my facial hair and said, "What are you doing here trying to copy me?" So he started off extremely nice. So I walked up to the table, a little bit nervous, a little bit shaky, shook the man's hand, and he could not have been any nicer. The conversation started about how I run a website and how I remember watching the show back in the day, and the theme song. All of our friends know the theme song to the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. How I dressed up as Mario based off of the show for Halloween one year back in the day. And he was extremely interested in what I had to say, was very happy to listen, and a big smile on his face the entire time.
We get just about out of the store, and we realized that there was a poster that you could get, and we decided that I needed an autograph from Captain Lou on the poster, and I walked up and I asked him if I could take a poster, and he said, "Who should I make it out to?" And I was like, "Well, you're busy, you don't have to." He was like, "Oh, no, nonsense, I'll sign it for you." So I told him my name, and it happens to also be his granddaughter's name. And so he signed my poster. He just really couldn't have been any nicer and more complimentary towards us.
He honestly was. Every time we said anything to him, he thanked us for being there and was more than happy to shake our hands, and just, he was honestly interested in everything that we had to say. So it was an amazing meeting. It couldn't have gone any better.
For over 50 years, Captain Lou Albano has entertained audiences from inside the wrestling ring and beyond, including the #1 rated Super Mario Bros. Super Show.
Well, I started back in as a professional wrestler back in 1950, and I was only 19 or 20, and I felt it was a way of making a living. Ooh! Had the eyes there, the shirt, Hawaiian shirt, this and that. They looked like a moron in heat, but that was me. People were throwing rocks at me and snowballs at me, and I'd come into arena like Madison Square Garden, and they'd come out waiting outside for me. Captain Lou, you bum, you this, and I said, oh boy, I gotta stop this. I said, this is ridiculous. I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna end up either getting killed, one of these guys. I said, or something. So I started to turn around, becoming a good guy, which we call in wrestling a baby face. That's a good guy. Even though wrestling is a show, you got to be careful. You can break your back or your this and that. I've broken my back twice of this. So I turned around and then decided to stop wrestling and work as a manager. And I started managing, the Sheik, the Valiant Brothers. And then I also handled Cyndi Lauper. And Girls Want to Have Fun.
Dear Cindy, sorry I'm not here, but I've gone for good.
Uh-oh! It should say, I've gone for good fried chicken.
That's when children's television came calling. DiC Entertainment was teaming up with Nintendo to bring the iconic Super Mario Bros. To the small screen.
They approached me for the part, and I thought it was an opportunity. First, I didn't want to do it. I figured I've been in the wrestling and forget about that. But then my wife talked to me and said, hey, look, let's take a shot at it.
But what about his trademarked beard?
And I didn't want to shave it off. I mean, I was used to the wrestling with a rubber band in my beard and this and that. The guy looked at me and said, you can't go with that. I said, I don't want to know that.
Unfortunately for Lou, losing his beard was non-negotiable. That's when he got a call from an old friend.
Regis Philbin, I knew for years. He's a friend. And he put me on the show and asked me to do it. And I said, okay, let's go. And I bum, and next thing that was it. Mario was a great guy. He was kind of, like a guy off the street, the big slob that did everything wrong, but was still Super Mario.
DiC had their Mario, but the producers were far from done. After all, the show was named after the Super Mario Brothers, which included the equally crucial Luigi.
Danny Wells came along, who was in many shows, okay? And Danny was up there with me, and we started reading for different, and there we went right into it. But Danny was very funny and very good in Super Mario, and he's a great guy.
Their heroes were cast. Now, DiC had to find super guest stars. They had no trouble, landing popular television stars like the Wonder Years' Danica McKellar and Baywatch's Nicole Eggert, pop sensation Cyndi Lauper, magician Harry Blackstone, and professional athletes like Lyle Alzado.
They went with me and had a conference and said, this is what we want to do. Would you like to do this? Would you like to do handle with the Sergeant Slaughter? Would you like to Magic Johnson? Do you want this? And I agreed with him. I said, hey, let's go with it. And that was it.
But Lou and Danny didn't need guest stars to have fun on the set.
Stuff that we did was so off the wall that really nothing was any chances. We just took chances with things, and we went along, and there were ideas that we came with, and Danny Wells thought of, and we just came right along with it, and they added to it, and we were doing this, and we were doing that, and it was great. And we went out for 3 or 4 years, and then we ran it and ran play, and we had like 60, 65 episodes. And the show was getting over bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was very pleased. And that was great.
Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario, take one step, and then again, let's do the Mario all together now. Come on now, just like that.
It's Captain Lou, and I'm talking to you. I'm going to see you on the next box set. Whoa, so good, so fine. Woo! Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. If your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers. Hooked on the brothers. Yo, you're in for a treat, so hang on to your seat. Get ready for adventure and remarkable feats. You'll meet the Koopas and Troopers, the princess and the